Hey guys, it's Ashley, your scrapping nerd, and I'm back today with a layout for Scraplift Crafternoon, and it's our weekly hop on Sundays where a bunch of us get together and we scraplift an amazing layout. And today's layout is by Kim Jenkins, and she's on the Paper Issues design team. And I'm also using this cut file for 31 days of cut files with MK and Janet. And this week's cut files are from MK. And so I used my Cricut to cut it out because I used the digital cut files, and I made it 11 by 11. And you saw the cut file, but I'm actually going to use the other part, like the leftover part, as a stencil, which you'll see in a minute. And then I pulled in my 49 Market Nature Study, the bits and bobs that I had left over for this layout, and I'm only going to use a white paper, and I'm going to do a lot of mixed media. So I pulled in ground espresso, rustic wilderness, peeled paint, forest moss, brushed corduroy, and vintage photo in the distress oxides and inks. And because I wanted it to be just a green and brown color in Kim's layout, it was very beautiful. It was all like rainbow colors, and so I'm mimicking her mixed media background, but I'm using the greens and browns that I had. And I did pull in a bunch of the matching distress sprays, but I actually will only use the Fallen Acorn mica stain. And so I start out by just taking my distress oxides and inks and creating the kind of lines down the background to mimic what Kim had. And I started here, and I had so much space on the top and the bottom of the line, and you'll see like I'll go back through and extend the lines to basically the edge of the paper. But I then took some water and I spritzed it, and then I used my heat tool just to dry the water spots. And I get this 110-pound cardstock from Joann's, so it doesn't warp as much when I put the water on it. But all I do is, once I'm done with the layout, like I'll stick it under my glass mat that I'm working on. I'll just stick it under the glass mat and let it kind of push down on the layout. And then of course once it goes into the scrapbook album, it's not a problem. But I just continued this same thing where I did my strip of my color, and then I used the water. And you can tell which ones are the distress oxide and which ones were just the inks. The inks still get blotchy when you put water on them, but you can tell the distress oxides because that's what they'll do with the water better. It's more of like a blotchy kind of distress look, where the inks just kind of look like I removed the ink, which it all works really well together, but you can tell the difference between the inks and the oxides. And I was planning on keeping this layout with my lines going up and down like Kim did, but when I do my stencil, you'll see I accidentally turned my paper, and so my lines are going to be horizontal, which it looks fine, but I just didn't intend for that to happen. So we'll just roll with it. And my stencil part was already done, which you'll see in a minute. So I was just like, okay, well, I guess my lines are horizontal. But I wanted to make sure that I liked that the kind of brown colors I picked and the green colors, I wanted to make sure that they weren't right next to each other. And I tried to pick a variation of the colors so that they weren't too like a dark one next to a dark green next to a dark brown, or a light green next to a light brown. I tried to kind of vary. I was going to say variegate. That's not the word. Just vary them. So that it had some interest between the two. And once I get everything down, and then I will spray the whole background with the water, it helps to also soften the lines between the kind of the stripes that it's creating. And I tried different things. I had like a little dauber for my finger, and then I have like the round dauber, and then I have these like blending brushes. And so it adds different looks. Like the blending brushes put the ink down lighter, whereas the the round dauber puts it really dark. You can see the brown is darker. And then like this color here, the blending brush, it doesn't put as much ink on the paper. And then the little dauber that goes on your finger is very concentrated where you put it. So I did that as well to just kind of vary the different inks on the background. And I like how the background turned out. After the end and everything was done, I kind of thought I probably should have went completely off the page on the edges, the left and right, but that's okay. And so see, here's this, this is the part of that you would throw away after cutting out the cut file. And so I just taped it down on top of my background, and I took that fallen acorn mica stain and I sprayed it so that it was like a stencil. And I like doing that with my cut files too, just because it's a cut file. You don't actually have to use the actual cut file. You can use it as a stencil. And all I did was tape it to the background and to my glass mat so that it would hold down while I spritzed it. But see, and it comes out really good. And like I said, you could see here how I accidentally turned the paper. I had planned on not having horizontal lines and having the vertical lines with like Kim did, but you know, we just roll with it. And I just used my heat gun to make sure that my heart was completely dry. And then I'm going to take this Scrap-A-Sketch stencil. I had pulled a bunch in because I wasn't sure which one I was going to use. And I love my Scrap-A-Sketch stencils. So if you're ever wondering, go to scrapasketch.com, and she has beautiful layout stencils there. And you can always use my code Ashley10 to get 10% off of them. But I love this one because it has like some crosses and then there's some triangles. And I will use the ground espresso and put it through the stencil, just kind of little blurbs all around this heart. And I thought this was perfect because this is a picture of my husband and I. We were in Mazatlan, and we were on the cruise, and the excursion, they took us to the shopping center, and there was this really pretty heart and this bench, and so you could take a picture. And so it's not like it's wilderness where I made this layout browns and greens and you'll see I'll put some leaves and everything. But I thought because the heart is floral and it's got leaves on it, it worked. And I just liked the idea of having the heart stencil in the background of the layout as well. And I'm just using, like I said, the 49 and Market Nature Study. And I have used all of this collection that I bought, like all the papers and the other ephemers. I just have a few of the cut-aparts that come on the back of the the packaging that you have to fussy cut out. I have those, and then I have the rub-ons because I'm learning that the leaf rub-ons are a little bit harder for me to use because I like to layer my leaves, and so they take me a little bit longer. But I use that stencil and I put the triangles and the crosses kind of all over the background, and then I'm using the rub-ons to also add to the background because in Kim's layout she had a bunch of fun things that were in the background, and so I put some words. There's like wonder, I have don't ever lose your sense of wonder, thankful for the sunshine, explore and discover, this is magical. So just a bunch of wordy bits in the background from that the rub-ons collection of the 49 Market Nature Study. But while I'm working on that, I want to say thank you to everyone that's liked and subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate it. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit those buttons below. I would love to have you. Make sure that you check out all the information in the description box. I have all of the wonderful ladies that are scraplifting Kim today. We have a bunch of new people that joined Scraplift Crafternoon, so make sure you go over there and give them some love. See what wonderful things they did with all the with their scrap lifts. And then I also have the information for the 31 days of Cutfiles with MK and Janet, and that's all below. You have Janet's page as well as MK's information for her shop and her page. So just peruse the description box. There's amazing ladies in there. And then, of course, if you go to the Facebook page for the 31 days of Cutfiles, that's full of inspiration for all those Cutfiles. But that's going to be the layout, guys. I, put a couple of the ephemera bits. I used this gate behind it just because I thought it would look cool, and I put a bird there, and a bird cage. Nothing to do with what we're doing, but I love trying to use all of my ephemera and ways to make it work. But I hope everyone has a great day. Bye.